What's going on, Blue Devil fans? Welcome to another DukeReport.com video recap. It's been about a month or so since our last video, so we've got to cover the last half of ACC play for the Blue Devils. So let's just get started from where we left off last time. Unfortunately, that means we've got to get started with Duke's embarrassing loss at NC State. The Devils made some of the Wolfpack's mediocre players look like all-stars. The only real highlight of this game was Nolan Smith's insane mid-air catch-and-shoot three-point first-half buzzer beater. Simply awesome. Moving on. Next up, the Devils took care of Clemson at Clemson, their first real road win of the year. Singler had a solid game, and Shire took care of business too. But the player of the game was definitely Nolan Smith. He took over the offense with 22 points, making tough, contested shots with relative ease. Go Nolan. Duke followed Clemson with a hard-fought 14-point win against Florida State. And by hard-fought, we mean it. Miles had to have his head stapled shut in this game. Seriously. But Duke toughed it out and came away with a quality win. Next, Duke went on the road once again to have their butts handed to them by Georgetown in front of the president of all people. This was a really embarrassing loss, so we've actually censored the footage because you really don't want to see it. It's that bad. But hey, look at Mason dunk the ball. Yay! Fortunately, Duke followed up the horrible game against Georgetown with a severe beating of Georgia Tech. The Devils dominated Tech, and the Yellow Jackets got really frustrated. Glenn Rice Jr. is a punk, and Gani Wall tried to rip Miles' face off. Singler's wrist was bothering him early on, but something clicked for him in this game, and he absolutely torched the Nets for 30 points, making 8 three-pointers in the game, 7 of which came in the second half. Duke traveled to Boston College for an unnecessarily close 3-point win against the Eagles. All you really need to know about this game is that Smith and Shire scored 21 points apiece, and Duke won. Next up, the almighty, well, not really, UNC Tar Heels. All right, let's hear it for Carolina. Man, Carolina sucks this year. They really do. But they gave everything they had in this one and kept it close for the first 30 minutes. I don't know, maybe Hansborough's presence inspired them or something. But Duke's three-point shooting kept them in this one, and in the end, Singler, Shire, and Smith were just too much for the Tar Heels to handle. Duke hit some big shots down the stretch, highlighted by 2 very JJ-like threes hit by Shire in the final moments of the game with a Ginyard right in his face. Oh yeah, and Mason Plumlee can dunk. Duke won by 10, snapping a 3-game losing streak to the Holes. Duke hosted the Twerps of Maryland as they followed up the Holes. People expected this to be a close game. It wasn't. Duke won by 21. This was Krzyzewski's 1,000th game with Duke, and it was also Brian Zubek's breakout party. Zubek had 16 points and 17 rebounds in the best game of his career. Oh yeah, and Zubeard actually dunked in a game. Has anyone ever seen that? Seriously, what a day. The Blue Devils overcame a 12-point first-half deficit to beat Miami in their next game. The Canes tried to kill Nolan, but he got back up and made a bunch of shots. The rest of the Big Three did really well also, but the game ball still goes to Zubek. He scored 10 points and just got after it on the glass and on the floor. Not really sure what clicked for Zubek at this point in the season, but we like it. Next up comes Duke's beating of Virginia Tech. This game pretty much belonged to Kyle Singler. He had 25 points and did a little bit of everything, continuing what he started against Georgia Tech with his best play of the season. Nolan also chipped in 23 points on a great night, and Zubek was a beast on the boards once again with 16 rebounds. Next up, Tulsa? Yep, that's right, Tulsa. Well, Zubek had a double-double, and the Big Three all had 15 or more points. When that happens, Duke wins, and they did. Duke traveled to Virginia to take on a Sylvan Landisburg-less Cavaliers team. Singler and Shire both owned this game. Singler had 21 points, 15 of which came in the first half. Shire finished with 20, and Duke finished with another W, making 8 straight wins after the Georgetown loss. Unfortunately, Maryland ended that streak when the Blue Devils traveled to College Park. Duke rallied from a 14-point deficit in this game behind some great second-half play from Nolan Smith. Down the stretch, the Blue Devils, especially Shire, made some really big plays to keep things tied up, but Maryland pulled away at the very end by some ridiculous shots made by Gravis Vasquez. Jeez. This brings us to Duke's final game of the regular season. The Devils look to end a 4-year home losing streak to the Tar Heels, and they did just that in dramatic fashion. Sparked by 3 straight threes from Shire, Singler, and Smith, the Devils built an early lead and never looked back. Duke's Big Three just embarrassed the Tar Heels, as demonstrated here by Nolan's sick hesitation move on Larry Drew, followed by the awesome finish. That's actually worth another look. All of Duke's Big Three scored 20 points or more in this 32-point blowout, the largest margin of victory by either side of the rivalry in over 30 years. The Blue Devils embarrassed the Tar Heels, and the fans loved every moment of it. Look at all those nice signs. Man, I hope Harrison Barnes was watching and just weeping and crying and calling Coach K and saying, "I'm sorry, can I come to Duke?" And then Coach K saying, "No, you can't. Your mistake." Oh well. This game was a great showcase of how good Duke really is, and it was also a great showcase of just how crappy North Carolina is as well. The Holes played so bad that ESPN decided to run a mid-game montage of their season's suckery. Just watch.
Davis with the baseball pass left side, broken up by Monroe, and it's over! And the College of Charleston has upset North Carolina!
It's sad to me to see that North Carolina has got to this level.
This is a North Carolina team that may have been preseason top 5, but make no doubt, they're not at all the same club they were a year ago.
My gosh, guys, how can we go any lower? I mean, to be honest, how could it be any worse than it is right now?
I nominate that for an Emmy. This is a game that Duke fans will remember for years, and it's also one that Carolina fans will try to forget. But you know what? We're not going to let them forget about it. We're going to bring it up every single time we play them for the next 10 years. Guaranteed. Well, that entire game will be our top play from the end of the regular season for the Blue Devils. The ACC tournament, followed by the NCAA tournaments coming up, and Duke's in pretty good shape to be a 1 seed. So let's hope this is the year Duke gets back to the Final Four. Signing off, this is DukeReport.com saying go Duke and stay in hell, Carolina. We tell them to go to hell, but, they're already there.